Today was a day that was pretty loaded. Let's talk about it. So, the loadedness begins when I get curious as soon as I wake up in the morning. I want to know how much I weigh because of yesterday's cheat day, and I was not expecting the results. I was 149 pounds. For those not keeping track, yesterday I was 144.4 pounds. So somehow I gained 5 pounds in one day. Now, I was so shocked by this that I did a little research and I found out that after an extended period of the keto diet and then reintroducing high concentrations of carbohydrates back into your body decides to store the glycogen into your muscles, and then that absorbs a lot of water, which in turn makes you very heavy. So it's essentially just water weight, thank goodness. But man, I was not expecting such an increase. In fact, I was so shocked by it that I was not interested in eating a lot today. So the only thing I ate today was a egg, bacon, and shredded cheese sandwich on keto toasts. Now I know I said that like once I reach my goal weight, I'm gonna switch back to generalized eating, but I gotta be honest. When I saw those numbers, it kind of scared me into just eating like keto and then fasting for the rest of the day, which I ended up doing. All I had was that sandwich and some coffee and a whole lot of water. So, yeah. And the weird thing was, I wasn't even hungry during my lunch break at work. So it ended up working out in the end, I think. Um, Apparently, my research stated that the weight will go down within the next 2 days. The only reason why it's so high is because of your muscles just retaining the water due to glycogen stores being restored. So that's pretty interesting. Well, um, when I got that shocking news, I decided, okay, what am I gonna do today? What should, what direction should I put my day in? And during that time, I thought, well, I feel really stiff and uncomfortable in my body after sleeping. How about I do some morning stretches? So I did some morning stretches. I found a YouTube video of a lady doing a follow through of them, and I followed through with them as best as I could. And I ended up doing a pretty good job. I felt much more relaxed and flexible afterwards. And it was a very nice feeling indeed, for sure. After the morning stretch, I decided to go and on a walk for like 10 minutes. And when I arrived back home, and by the way, I didn't listen to any podcasts, I didn't bring my phone with me. It was just me and the outside and just being completely in the moment, which is very nice. I really did like that. Well, eventually, I arrived home after just walking around the block, um, the neighborhood I live at, and I decided I would do 30 minutes of something productive. And I spent the 30 minutes putting away pots and pans that were in the clean side of the sink. And yeah, that's I would dry some of the dishes that were there. I'd put them away. There were uh, pot coverings that I need to put in the bottom pantry, but we have these pot lid holders that were all messed up and they needed to be reinsert it in. So I did that while putting the lids back in. And yeah, it's pretty much what happened. After doing that work, I was getting hungry, so I decided to make a uh, egg and bacon and cheese sandwich with mayonnaise and keto seed bread. I mean, even if I wasn't shocked by the number, or even if I was under my target weight, I would have still eaten the keto bread. And the reason why is because we have a decent amount of it, and it'd be a shame if we let that food go to waste. Um, Even if you're not on the diet, you might as well use it, right? But I use that. Um, Took me a bit of a while to make the food. Once the food was done and I brewed some coffee, I went into the living room and I decided to watch a unusual suspect video, or Suspect Green. I continued watching his video about the science fiction films that Mark Hamill was in that were not Star Wars. And the film I saw, I honestly don't remember the name of. All I remember is like it was like the DVD advertised him as being the main hero in the movie, when in reality it's someone different, and he just so happens to be like a tag-along in there. And um, the movie's got like weird, goofy, like cartoon aliens that rap. Well, they're not like cartoon aliens. They're like puppets, like because it was a film made in the early '90s, but it looked really obnoxious and annoying. And yeah, not exactly sure what was going on with that one. It was weird. But the unusual suspect did make a lot of funny video editing jokes throughout that made it a really fun watch, I would say. Well, after viewing that video, I didn't finish the whole thing. I only finished one of the movies they reviewed. I decided it would be a great idea to go to my room and work on 25 minutes of brain jam, 25 minutes of line work, and 25 minutes of some animation work, all while brewing a cup of coffee and drink that while working. I did end up doing all that work, and it felt really rewarding to do all of it. I rewarded myself with a two videos. One was the "Nothing's Going to Stop Us Now" scene from Cats Don't Dance, which I always thought was really funny and entertaining and nostalgic, because I watched that movie on repeat all the time when I was a kid, and I just really loved the animation and the visual language of the movie. It was just like a goofy film that didn't really care to take itself too seriously, but seriously enough to where you still care about the characters, you know. And yeah, um, one of my favorite childhood films. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. And then I watched the animated Love Shine music video that was made by a artist who worked on a different famous shows when I was a kid, like Teen Titans. And I never watched Batman Brave and the Bold, but she worked on it. Brianna Drewhard is the name of the artist. But she goes under the online alias for a YouTube channel, Potato Farm Girl, because I did listen to a podcast with the artist because I was curious about her background, what she did. And apparently, before she worked on cartoons, she was in a potato farm, so that's why she has that as her online alias. So, pretty interesting. Yeah, I just really liked the Love Shine video that she did during some downtime, and she wanted to make something for her that she would find funny or fun. And you could definitely sense that spark of excitement and joy within the video, because when you watch it, like, or at least when I watch it, I do get a sense of enjoyment and fun out of it, and I really like it a lot. It's about like a witch that decides to take a frog and then turn the frog into a dude and then take the dude out to a dance at a ball. And yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. And very charming. After watching that, I decided I went out. I said hello to my sister. I told her what I did. She said, "Keep it up." And then after that, I got dressed into my work clothes and I was off at work. Eventually, when I got to work, I punched in and I was doing my sweeps. I greeted one of my favorite coworkers in the produce section. We got in a funny little conversation about the time and how if you look at the 3 in our clock in the produce section, if it goes halfway and then a few empty spaces later, it'll be the time to go. And then my coworker mentioned how it was the 3 looked like prison bars. I was like, "Oh no, are you saying we're in prison?" And it was like, oh, "Nah, maybe." And it was an interesting little observation there. But we always poke fun and make a bunch of silly jokes. I don't see my job as a prison at all. I see it as a blessing, by the way, if anyone was wondering. But yeah, that was. I guess some people see it like that because it's something you need to do if you want to survive and whatnot. But I see it as something that I get to do because I have a job and I'm very grateful for it. It's not going to stop me from having some fun and making jokes, though. So there you go. Yeah, and then I saw one of my coworkers who was not working today. They were in their regular clothes doing some shopping. I chatted with them. We had a good conversation. Then another one of my coworkers came and I said, I stopped everything I was doing and I said their name in a funny way, and they seemed to think that was funny. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And yeah, I had sweeps throughout the entire day from 3 all the way to 11. So it was just sweeping the produce area, sweeping the break room, sweeping the entirety of the store floor. And yeah, it was, but it's pretty much it. Not much to say other than I wiped some milk that was spilled on the floor, and I got some help from one of my coworkers who helped wipe it. There was a funny interaction in the break room where I was whispered by the coworker. I said their name in a funny way to say something to one of my coworkers down at the back storage room, like, "Hey, you look like a certain wrestler," and they seemed to think that was ridiculous. So yeah, I guess that was like a little humor right there. Another thing that I remember was that I did like kind of a sitting chair in the midair pose where I was like letting some of my coworkers through a door to the store, and they thought that I wouldn't be able to get back to my normal position, but I was able to get back to my normal position. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, what else? I remember I decided to record stuff that happened on my job on my phone's voice recorder, so it would stay fresh in my memory when I did this video, so I'd have something kind of interesting to share from work. On my break, when I went to refill my water canteen at the nearby fast foods place that allows you to do that for free. And yeah, I did record all of what I just reported here on my phone through a voice recorder to keep it fresh in my mind. Yeah, but those were the most interesting things that happened before lunch. During lunch, I decided not to eat. Instead, I just drank water and did some breath work. And yeah, it was a good session. I really enjoyed it. And very nice and relaxing. Finally, afterwards, I remember my last 4 hours was spent taking out the trash, sweeping the floors, wiping down check stands 8, 7, 6, and 5, talking to one of my coworkers about how one of our workers recently left, and apparently it was stated they left because they felt like they were not liked by their fellow coworkers, which is a shame. Like I don't know, I got along with the individual just fine, so not sure what was going on there, but apparently that's what I was told. And then, yeah, I cleared a lot. I remember one of my coworkers asked, "Hey, how do I make sure the carts don't get taken?" And I said, "You could lock the wheels," and they were like, "Ooh, that's a good idea," because we have like a wheel lock device to ensure that they don't get stolen. So they did that. So pretty cool. And yeah, punched out, said goodbye to my coworker and my co-manager. Went in my car, drove home. When I arrived home, I greeted my mom. She told me she had one of our black cat call me with her. I kissed call me. Then she said that our orange cat Malcolm was in a room. I decided to see for myself, and he was. I pet him for a while. It was awesome. And then when I was done with that, I remember I had like a little conversation with my mom and her family friend about like how I grew so big from yesterday and how I'm going to be more careful with what I eat. And I took my vitamins. I brushed my teeth. And I'm recording this update video. But the last thing I did was that I made sure to fill out my war log about the marshmallows avoided and the marshmallows eaten. So I ate the marshmallow of looking at the clock to see what time it was instead of being fully invested in my work. I guess this could be misconstrued as me making sure the timer was working, but you know, that was something I put. Then another marshmallow eaten was stayed in bed until 10:22 a.m. instead of waking up at 8 a.m. to get stuff done. Yeah, this morning I stayed in bed until 10:22, so it was a pretty late start for me. I'm gonna try to go to bed early tonight. So no, I will go to bed early tonight. There we go. That's better. I avoided marshmallows, like I skipped clicking on a YouTube recommendation so I could practice lower back stretches in the morning. I did some contour line practice instead of watching another YouTube video. I went to bed before doom scrolling. I wanted to watch YouTube in the morning. Did morning stretches instead. Interesting. Isn't that what I did? I guess it does say 1:18 p.m. to 1:18 p.m. So I guess it's like covering 24 hours. So, oh yeah, yesterday I think I was doing some stretching instead of watching YouTube. So I basically did the same thing again here. Then I stopped watching a video after breakfast to dedicate time to Brain Jam. Was another marshmallow avoided. And I did 5 avoidances, I did 2 eatens, and the final life score is 3 for the 24th today. So there you go. Now we've got our next war log. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I'm good about achieving my goals and I don't falter. Well, tomorrow I work from 11 to 8, so it's going to be an early shift for me. I'm more used to shifts that are like 3 to 11, so let's do this. I'm ready. Bring it on. I'm going to go to bed now. Thanks for watching. Take care and have a good night. Bye.